Hello, hello. Are we spooked? Welcome to my cemetery. Come in. Welcome. Welcome. How are you? How is everyone? It has been a week. Hello to all. Bless you. Thank you so much for being here. And I'm going to tell you at the end, I'm going to be redirecting you to Turtle Boy because I know he's got more news. He's got more news than Carter has liver pills. Have you ever heard that? Hello. Hello. Love the cemetery. Why do I say ceremony? Well, maybe we're going to have a ceremony. And I think we're going to have a ceremony of all of those who are going to be perp walked because the house of cards are starting to fall. Welcome, everyone. I am Zelda Kelly. For those of you who are watching and have never been here before, welcome, welcome. Please do me a favor, subscribe, click that notification bell, and please do me a favor and hit the thumbs up. Share it if you think someone else would love to be here too, because I love being here with you. That's the most important thing. And we have Maria in the house. She's going to be modding for us tonight. Hello, everyone. Hi, hi, hi. It has been a week. So if y'all want to say hello to Maria, she's here. She always watches. She's just so good. She's just so good. So she's here. She's watching. Not that we need anybody, but, you just never know if somebody popping in doesn't like things that we have to say. It's been a week. It's been a week. We have got a lot to talk about, and then I've got a special little bonus that I'm going to tell you, and I'll give you a trigger warning for those of you who can't, because this is actual video of me with a haunted necklace and handkerchief. Now, I'll give you that trigger warning before we start it, and I'm going to tell you the story behind it is absolutely crazy, and it is scary because I didn't see half of or hear, mainly it's hearing, half of anything in this video until after I was finished. I did not have any special equipment. I didn't have, all I had was my trusty little phone, the phone camera that I normally take video with. And I had a Bluetooth, a little device just like this in my ear. And I was recording, going to town. So I will give you a trigger warning. I will say hello. And hello, welcome everyone. Because right now we're going to be talking about this latest filing yesterday from the CW. And oh my gosh, we just got to do this right away. Thank you so much. I know who you are, my darling. If we watch scary movies, are we exposing ourselves to dark forces? Halloween is coming up. Thank you. No, you're not. Not unless you participate in that movie. I watch them. I'm a big fan. And you know what? That's a great question. Thank you so much for asking that. And thank you for that $5 super chat. You are the one, Dragon Man. I love you. So that's a great question. And thank you again. No, you're not inviting bad things because it is play acting. It is not something that you're inviting in that you want to do. Normally, hopefully. I'll tell you what, this time of year, I am digging Tubi. It is free. I am digging Turner Classic Movies because they have all of these movies. And you know the movie that I saw? Maybe some of you will remember this movie with Connie Stevens. Do you remember Connie Stevens? What an absolute cute sweetheart she was. I think she's still around with us. I hope so. Connie Stevens, this little sweet blonde girl, back in the 1950s and 60s, was kind of like that Gidget character, kinda. But Connie sang, she was really good. But there's a movie on Turner Classic Movies that is called Two in a Guillotine. Two in a Guillotine. And that was probably about the first sort of kind of scary movie that I'd ever watched, because my mom loved, my mom was the Hollywood guru, and so was my grandmother. But my mom, I mean, so I remember her saying, Zell, don't worry. It's all, don't worry. And I was just like sitting there. Now it's like, bring it on. But I'll tell you what, I love all of those old movies. And for those of you who like that kind of thing, I am a Hammer Studio aficionado. I love the Hammer Studio, all of those vampire and Wolfman and zombie and oh my goodness, they are fantastic. They are Connie Stevens, Where the Boys Are. I don't think she was in Where the Boys Are. That I don't think she. Connie Stevens. Now I have to look. Now I have to look. Give me a second. I'm gonna be looking. Connie Stevens, and I'm gonna give you this little sweet gal. Maybe. I don't like to. Let me see if I can share my screen here. Let me see. I love Peter Cushing and Christopher Lee. Peter Cushing is the absolute. Here's Connie Stevens. I'm going to, let me do this. Connie Stevens. I did a Google search. Here she is. You see her? Remember her now? What a little cutie pie she is. Yes, that's Connie. So, Vincent Price, you got it, Standing Stones. Peter Cushing is my absolute favorite. And Dark Shadows, I watch Dark Shadows constantly. I love my sister and I used to run home from school and turn on Dark Shadows. So yeah, and it's on Tubi in its entirety, by the way. That was Connie Francis. You are right. Hiya, hello. Thank you and so much for helping me out with that. That is Connie Francis singing Where the Boys Are. So Connie Stevens was just this absolute adorable. So she played in this movie Two in a Guillotine, or some people say guillotine, whatever the case may be. That is really a wonderful. So, oh my goodness, hold on. I was a stunt double for Reinfeld at the Dracula's Lair. Really? I love that idea. That's pretty cool. But if you want to see kind of sort of innocent, spooky mystery, I like the mystery, the 13th chair and all that stuff. And I've always wanted to be having this murder mystery dinner where you can come and visit and we talk about these things and then have a little murder mystery happen and, stuff like that. So you're pulling my cape. Oh, good for you. See, listen, I'll believe anything you tell me, Standing Stones. I love it. I love it. And then, hiya, my darling. I used to make sure I didn't get in trouble so I can get home from school to watch Dark Shadows. Listen, Barnabas Collins is my favorite vampire ever. Now, Bela Lugosi. And I tried to I've got some Bela Lugosi memorabilia that I have to load and put in a certain format so I can show you. But I loved Barnabas Collins. But anyway, back here, so I don't get off track. One of the movies that I think, it's a Vincent Price movie, and Agnes Moorehead Do you remember Agnes Moorehead? She was in Bewitched. She played Bewitched mother. Remember? She was wonderful. And yes, we definitely are. We definitely are mind melding. That is for sure. We, you know, we have this generation that was so cool. But the video I want to tell you about is on YouTube. It's called The Bat, and it stars Vincent Price and Agnes Moorehead. You guys have to see it. You have to see it. You have to see it. And there's a colorized version for those of you who don't like the black and white. I like the black and white. But one of my favorite, I think the favorite that I have of these spooky genre videos is The Wolfman, where that old psychic woman, every man who is pure in heart and says his prayers by night turn into a wolfbane if the wolfbane it's something about the wolfbane if the autumn moon is bright, and then you hear this thing in the background. My gosh, how do I love that, right? So this is one of my favorite times of year. Of course, I love this. We're moving on up to autumn and then Christmas, and then it's like by the time the New Year's, I'm like, come on, can we get it over now? Let's just go on. So yes, Lon Chaney, wonderful. Teenage Werewolf with Michael Landon, absolutely. Now, one of my goals for 2025 is to get out to Zach Bagan's Haunted Museum in Las Vegas. They have a mirror of Bela Lugosi, and they say if you look in the mirror that you can see some stuff. Now, I'm not a mirror scryer. I'm careful about where I hang mirrors. You don't want to hang a mirror across from each other in a room because it creates a vortex, and there's just all these kind of crazy things. But there was a murder that happened in Bela Lugosi's house in the 1930s, and they said that this mirror caught the murder. I just like to see it. But the one thing that I will tell you that I will avoid is the doll room. The doll room, no, I don't do dolls. And next week, I'm going to tell you of a story that happened to me when I was 4 years old, since we're getting up to this grand time of year, this Halloween. I will tell you next live the story of the doll. That's a scary one. The first time in my life that I knew what fear was, and the first time in my life that my grandmother and my mother and my grandpa found out what was really going on with me. It was a very frightening and scary time. All right, my darlings, and Lindsay, I want to thank you so much. Hi, Zelda. So happy to have caught you live. I'm so happy that you're here, Lindsay. Thank you so much. And thank you to all of you for being here. And hello to every one of you. You know I love you. So let's talk about Karen Reed. First of all, this week has just been this absolutely... Now, I wore my Elvis Presley shirt tonight in honor of Jailhouse Rock. And I wore my Harrah's Cherokee Casino and Hotel hat because these people keep gambling. You like that? They keep gambling and gambling, and I'm going to tell you, they're losing. They're losing. This latest thing, and I don't know if you saw that video that I posted today, that was clips of the ACLU Amicus Brief video that I made a few days ago. And hi, Irish. Good. I can go on about Bela Lugosi. But anyway, check out that video because Mr. Reed, as you know, shows up from time to time in my videos. Well, this past video, hello and welcome to everyone. This past video with the ACLU, Mr. Reed showed up 3 times in the reading. So I shortened it, I clipped it, and I have posted it earlier today. If you get a chance, roll over there after the live and take a look at it. But Mr. Reed, what can I say? He is the daddy of all daddies. Every girl wishes they had a daddy like Mr. Reed. Now, come on, most of us did. But I'm going to tell you, and there's Marie, True Oracle, Tarot Psychics, and that's where I am online. So you can go over there and check that out. But there's Marie. And please, everyone, do me a favor and say hello to Maria. There is our beautiful moderator. And yes, there we go. A little song for her is Maria. I just met a psychic called Maria, and suddenly that name will never be the same to me. Okay, no worries. Listen, I was having webcam issues tonight, and I thought, oh, hello, here we go. I'm going to have issues about 15 minutes before and you should have seen me scrambling, unplugging. Oh my gosh, what are we going to do? So there we go. So Maria is in the house. And I'm going to tell you, she's excellent. And she is my Capricorn buddy. So if anybody ever wants to know, my Capricorn buddy, and when you see the devil card come out and you think, oh, heck, oh, no. Capricorns, hello. My son is a Capricorn, Christmas Day. So Mr. Reed, he is the daddy of all daddies. I'm going to tell you, I can't wait for him to get onto the stand. They're barking up the wrong tree, but I'm also going to say that I know that they've got a little nefarious thing here because they want to keep Mr. Reed and Mrs. Reed and her brother out of the courtroom. Maybe, but I don't think so. I really personally believe, now this is in my opinion only, that the reason that they're doing this is because they are grasping for air. Everything that they're doing is being deflated. Now look at DL, Detective Lieutenant. Hello, Detective Lieutenant Tully. You are a so-and-so. So a detective lieutenant, why do they give these people these names? You know what it sounds like to me? That they're working for some multi-level marketing scam. Doesn't it you? Oh, here, come meet our Detective Lieutenant Tully. He will show you to the room where you file false documents. I don't know what it is. Anyway, they drive me crazy with all these names. But Detective Lieutenant Tully, he's been rehomed. He's taken a position that he doesn't like. Somebody asked me if I knew where he went. And I said, I hope that they're fitting him for his jumpsuit, his prison jumpsuit. You know, he's the big tree. And when the big trees start falling, they fall on top of the little sprigs. And that is what's going to happen because they're all in this little nucleus, as we all know. So that was number one. And then out of the cosmic unknown, we have their, what is he called? Their media person, Traub, all of a sudden just resign. Well, he knows what's coming. He knows what's coming. So they've got several of the police officers and state patrolmen under investigation that they're not going to be able to use for their investigation. And for anyone who believes that, oh, yes, Hank is being put in place, Hank Brennan is being put in place so he can go ahead and he's going to battle this corruption. You know what I say? Bull. He's there for a very short period and amount of time. How do we know that? Well, he's going to make 75 grand out of it. But these are his Hail Marys because he knows that the appeal with the Supreme Court, ooh, baby, the Supremes, all 7 is going to happen in November. They've got to do something quickly. And this is to shake the tree because, quite frankly, what else do they have? They're going to try to use family members to go against Karen. Completely, how daft can they be? We all know that. Well, they can be very daft because evil knows no morals. Evil will try to do anything, and they don't really care because the reality is when one goes down, it's kind of like you can do whatever you want to because I'll take you all down with me. That's the attitude. One of the ones that I want to see really get justice, Jennifer McCabe. She's got her little nose into everything and everyone's business. Now, why? I don't think that there was a connection, you know what I mean, with her and Morrissey in that particular way. But I do believe that there is a connection in a way that she knows something and he knows something about her. The feds started their investigation a while ago, and Morrissey knows it. And he's tried to do these Hail Marys. He's tried to jerk what is really going out of Josh Levy with the feds. He's trying to jerk things out of him with these letters that he's writing. Well, it ain't happening. Josh Levy, he knows panic. What you're seeing, my darlings, is 70-year-old Michael Meatball Morrissey start panicking, and everyone around is starting to panic too, because I'm going to here is what I want to tell you. And when you can think of this analogy, you'll understand how you can stay calm. With them, whomever the leader is, let's just say it's D.A. Morrissey or it's Jen, whomever this is, think of them as a pilot on a plane, and you have passengers. Now the plane starts going down. Everybody starts screaming and getting upset and panicking. But it's up to the pilot to make sure that everyone stays in their seats and calm and buckle up, because you're going to go for a ride and you got to stick with it until you can land the plane safely. But what if the pilot starts getting all upset and running back and forth in the plane? What's going to happen? You're going to see the panic start rising from everyone else, and especially when the pilot puts on the parachute and jumps the plane, and you're all left to fend for yourself. My darlings, that is what's going to happen. When you use these criminal tactics, you're right, TD, they'll all start rolling on each other. But when you use criminal tactics, as in swapping out suspects, criminal activity, swapping things out, swapping things going on. It is just an absolute, complete, just a matter of time until, sorry, I had a kitty looking at me like, Mommy, what are you doing? All right, so anyway, it is just a matter of time until the gauntlet starts to drop. Now, we've got some really high ups here. We've got some corruption on some real high levels. And that you want to know what my prediction is? I think that Josh Levy with the feds they're just gonna let this all go. He's just gonna let them start tripping over each other and see who starts singing, right? That's what he's gonna do. And then all of a sudden, overnight, one night, we're gonna see them coming in, and it will be almost like martial law, but it won't be that way. So what will it be? It will be a receivership in which the feds can come in and take over everybody's position, and you will be told to leave all of your electronics on your desk. Don't pick up anything except your personal belongings, and you get the flock out of there. That is what I feel is going to happen, because there is so, look at what's happening. There is so much that now Irish has got a really good point. She keeps saying, I agree with her. Irish says, I still can't believe they're going on with this being the feds are there, but evil knows no bounds. That's right. We've all read the back of the book. We know where we're going to go with the devil. And he's going to go to the hot place opposite where we will be going. And I'm going to tell you, these lower level people, like Julie Nagel, Sarah Levinson, they're already scared. They're already, like, their lives are ruined because of these drunken people that have decided to take the law into their own hands and handle something. And why did they do that? It's because they've done this sort of thing before. And they've gotten away with it, so they speak, so they think, so they are. So what's one more? That's how you get caught. You know that. One time you might get lucky and get away with something. But then, now, second time, you're pushing the envelope. Third time, you are a career criminal. And fourth, well, we'll just get you fitted for your new jumpsuit, because that's where you're going. It is a very sad and dangerous thing. I want to take a little side trip here for a second. I wanted to start reporting on the Delphi case. The Delphi case has some very similar things happening. Maybe to not this extent, but there's some crazy things, and they've got somebody locked up who I see personally, in my opinion, did not do this, but was arrested and charged because it was a political move. It was the Odinism religion. And I'm going to tell you, they're not allowing any of that to come into court. Why? Why? Yeah. And there's some crazy things going on in that particular case. I wish I could have gotten up there. I would have gone. But from what I'm hearing, the people that are waiting to get into the courthouse, I mean, they're getting in line at like 3:30 a.m. in the morning, waiting to just get into the courtroom because this judge won't allow it to be televised. Well, you know why? She sees what's going on with the Karen Reed case. Now, there's another one I'm also going to share with you that I feel has got some really big time corruption. Bear with me. Is the Idaho 4. The Idaho 4 case I'm definitely Irish. You and I, darling, we are on the same path, aren't we? The Idaho for It's Deep. Can you do a reading? Yes, I will do it. I've been intending to do readings. And here's the thing, I used to schedule out things. Oh, I'm wrong. There's no way. Every time there's something with Karen coming out, there's something this, there's something. I am going to do something on the Idaho um, 4. I am going to do something because I don't believe that young man went in there and did that. I don't believe it was only one person. There's some serious things with officials that has happened there, and with some big time things happening that I'm not even so sure that I can mention here. But I can tell you this. Each one of those 4 students, bless their heart, or those people, each had a person in their family who was involved with some drugs, who had then turned into some type of informants. And there were some big, I'm going to say, don't put it in the chat, please. There were some big organizations coming up from a country that is south of us, here in the United States, into Arizona, up to Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, and into Spokane, Washington. Do I believe this Kokenberger, whatever his name is, sorry, I didn't mean to butcher it. I was on a roll. Names don't really register with me. I don't believe he did it. I believe this guy is in shock. I believe the same thing with the Delphi case. You know, I'm going to tell you something. I respect justice. I respect the law. But when someone in that type of group of people want to nail someone for something, as in swap out suspects, they do it and they don't care who pays for it. They don't care at what cost. They do it, putting others in harm's way and in danger. So, yes, I'm going to say this. And you know, I'm going to say this. I'm going to tell you this. Irish, thank you. And I've heard of that. But the one thing that I want to tell you is this. I don't watch a lot of those things because I'm not a crime reporter like Turtle Boy and these attorneys. Attorney Melanie, she's just an absolute wonderful attorney. Emily Baker, we've got Will, we've got Mazza, we've got all these people who do, JFK. We've got all of these that do these wonderful reporting. I don't, even though I want to know, I don't want to do too much because I don't want it to influence the cards, if that makes any sense. Because if you start looking in a certain way, then yes, it will start influencing your mind. You can influence the readings and in the cards. So I'm just going to say this. I know enough to know that I just don't know enough. But it's the same with Karen Reed. I missed all the pre-trials. I missed all of those preliminaries, and I came in at about day 10-ish, 11, something like that. These cases are flippin' well messed up. I know enough about the one girl in the Idaho 4, how she was unalived is horrific. I don't see that this guy that they've got did it. You have to be involved in a international, I'm going to say this, an international ring that does this, and they know how to do it quickly and swiftly. Get in, do it, get out. This guy that they've got could have, if he was attacking one, he could have been overtaken by the other three. And it was just, they were wiped out, unfortunately. Kind of not quite that severe, standing stones, but yeah, I mean, the whole thing, cartelish. But when we think of that, we only think of one thing, but I'm going to say cartelishy things. There's international. And these groups that were involved in the Idaho 4, I'm going to say in the backstory, flippin' well, dangerous. Now, they arrested some of them for bringing paraphernalia and some things. I have to be careful. Let's be careful. Through states, but it was only because, pardon me, one of the 4 had an informant. Each one of these 4 had a tie, and they had somebody in their families turned informant on some extremely dangerous groups. That's what they do. I mean, that they don't care. See, in the old days when I was growing up into the mafiosa, well, I didn't grow up in there. Oh my God, no, I didn't. But it was during the time frame the standing rule was you never went after anybody's family. Well, things have changed. That's the first thing, because, if you don't go after somebody's family, okay, well, you make a sacrifice here or there. Oh no. How do you control someone? By threatening. That's the deal. That's right. That is Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, standing stones. And I've been to Coeur d'Alene many times. I used to live in Spokane, Washington, a few years ago. But we went over, and Coeur d'Alene, Idaho is known for skiing. And it is beautiful. If you don't want to go to Aspen, you go to Coeur d'Alene. That's where you go. Zelda, I understand. No familia. That's right. Absolutely. I have 2 beautiful Spokane Valley. Yes. And I'm going to tell you, some of these people that were arrested were residing, and some of the informants were residing in Spokane Valley. So there's some issues there. But they had to do this quickly. I don't like it. I don't like what they've done in the Delphi case. I think that they, personally, in my own opinion, I think the ACLU needs to step in for that person as well. They've kept this man in a prison, solitary confinement with no conviction, and he's been in there a long time. And they said that he has confessed. Well, I want you to know something. When you are in a situation like that, and there's no way out, and they start making you promises, if you confess something and then you do it, and they withdraw their promise, and they do that. You see, I love law enforcement. I love the judicial system, but when it goes bad, oh my gosh, they have a license to lie. They can lie and set somebody up, and it doesn't matter. They are looking at one thing. They've got blinders on. So we've got several false confessions. You are absolutely right, Dragon Man. And I want, here's the thing that I'm really interested in, because I'm going to tell you something. The feds, now let's get this straight. The feds, pardon me, here we go. Zelda's hitting everything because I'm getting all bombastic. The feds said they cleared Karen Reed. So are these people better than the feds? Karen Reed, let me make that clear. She was cleared by the feds. And they started their little investigation, and they saw this start going sideways. And that's when they provided what information that they had, including the crash daddies for the court. And of course, somebody, Judge Cannon, as she's called, decided that she was not going to allow the jury to understand who the crash daddies were. Why not? Would they just start asking questions? And I've got another question for all of you to ponder, and that is, we've been hearing a lot about the jury foreman over this past week, and I'm going to say maybe even 10 days. I'm going to say that little note that he wrote to the judge was pretty eloquent. And I want to know, did anyone else have any input in this at all? Did they? Or did he just take it upon himself and write this and say, this is what we're going to do? Now, listen, if I were in a jury and this was going on, I've got my enough chutzpah in me to basically say, look, 2 and 2 is not adding up here. And I'm thinking we need to really look into some things. But hello. That's why this has gone up on a higher level. Ding, 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 ding. Now, do I still feel that Karen will have a trial? No, I don't. However, I've been wrong and I'll admit it. If something, this is free will. If there is something that they do, then she may have to go through another trial, but it's not going to last long. It's not, who is going to be their witnesses? They've got some dude from Alabama now who is replacing Trooper Paul, the crime scene whisperer and stuff. And I think his name is Dewey. Dewey better cancel his flights. That's all I got to say. Because, yeah. And I'm going to tell you the reason that Lolly, in my opinion now, this is entertainment purposes only. You all just come in here to hear me talk. In my opinion, the reason that Lolly was so fixated on the high tops and the stools and this and that and the other thing was because he wanted to absolutely bore the jurors into a complete stupor and tears so they would forget. That's how you do it. When you're swapping out suspects, you maintain the jury with nonsense. So everything starts melding together because they're not supposed to take notes, I don't think. So you're supposed to commit a 7-week or a 9-week trial, whatever that case may be, to memory and make a decision that is life-altering and changing in the end, when most all people can only remember Lolly talking about, where did you sit when you went into the waterfall? Where did you sit? Now, I have another theory on this. You want to know it? Of course you do. In the waterfall footage, you see all these people when They were doing the posturing and the butt grabbing and all these other stuff. They were doing all this. And you saw these band members just kind of scurrying very quickly behind because they were loud. They were loud. Do you think that maybe they wanted to know where they were sitting so they could say, "What did you hear?" I'm sure they were trying to figure out who was sitting where, when, how, and how long. But you saw those people walking around innocently, not part of them. Sadly. So they're not going to be allowed to do that this time. And I want you to know this. This is a complete, not a knock on the chin, but a complete smack across the kisser for Lolly. And we know that. We know that. All right, we've got a question here. And anyone who wants to ask me a question, Karen, no, please put the little question marks so I can see. Karen wants to know, do you think there will be any more love letters from Idaho? Yes. Yes, I do. Yes, there will be more. And they're not going to stop. They're pacing it. Do you see? Because Attorney Mark Idaho could have just put all of this in one big letter and said, okay, now you need to parse this out. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no. It is done on purpose this way, to parse out things, to let them know, because you see what's happening. We started getting some rehoming and resigning and all of those things. So there's more coming, Karen. There's more coming. And each time is going to get, pardon the professional French, damning. Each one will be more. We're not done. We have, I believe, 2 more. If they start really getting a lot of results, they may only make it 1. But there's a lot more. Bless Attorney Mark, because this is shaking the tree, and these bad apples are starting to fall, and we're seeing it in front of us. So my thoughts for this week is I've got a part 2 on the connection between Meatball and Jennifer. And I'm going to be adding some more things into that reading that I picked up on this past reading. But my goodness, I mean, we don't need a 2-hour video on what in the world. So I'm going to be doing that. And then I'm going to be doing on the Delphi. Now, I'm not going to be reporting, like I said, on that. I'm not going to be reporting, but I am going to do some readings on the Delphi case. And for those of you in here who don't really know a lot about the Delphi case, there's a religion that is called Odinism. You can look that up. But the way these 2 teenagers were positioned, there were, I'm just going to say sticks, as in little tree sticks, positioned on them in a way that earmarks that. One of the reasons of that is racial promotion. Now, please don't put that in the chat, but it is sickening. And these 2 girls suffered. And they found DNA, pardon me, itchy. They found DNA in the one girl's hand that the defense just dropped this little knowledge the night of jury selection, that the DNA did not match the man that they have incarcerated. And they've known this whole time. And this has been since what, 2017? Seven, going on 8 years, maybe? No, 3, 4, 5. Yes, 7. And for any of you who have Max or HBO, and you have watched this series, that's my gig, was this series. It's called True Detective. The first installment had something that was close to Odinism, and I think that came out in 2014. I'm not sure, but I think it did. So that was the first thing that I thought of, is, do we have a copycat? But there are several different things that don't add up. It's not a form of voodoo. It's not any type of form of any of that. It's more of a posturing type thing, like claiming. So there we go. So yeah, it is a crazy case. And if it were televised, there would be complete outrage. And I wish one of the attorneys that are down there would contact the ACLU of Indiana and get them involved, because this is bad. It does go back to the Norse. It does. That's correct. Irish, it sure does. So now I'm planning on going a little further with these things, and with our event in the United States. Please don't put it in the chat, but what's going to happen on November 5th, there's some things that I want to point out that I think are very interesting and I can't put on here. So if you have not gone by my Patreon, please come and do that. And I have put Patreon in the description in this live. If you want to come on over, it's a free trial and you can start watching some of these things, and I really appreciate it. And also, for those of you who would like to go over and see my profile bio on True Oracle, that is where I do the psychic readings and even those video readings. And if you'd like to order a video reading with me, you can do so here at that website that's scrolling below that you see is going on there. So do trueoracle.com/video reading, and you can order a tarot life path with me, or you can order a video reading, or you can just say, look, let's not be so formal. I just need you to throw out a few cards and I just need to see this and this and this. And we can certainly do that too. I would love to do that for you. So, and for anyone who wants to have a special recognition, here is my Venmo and Cash App. Now, you're not obligated to do that at all, but if you do, I appreciate it. And I'll definitely shout you out and we'll talk about what it is that you have to say. So thank you so much for that. And don't forget, my darlings, hold on. I always do this to you, don't I? Not nice. But I'm doing it. Sorry. Okay, here we are. Here we are. I'm back. I missed you. Here we are, my darling. You see this? These are two Kipper decks. And when we reach 7,000 subscribers, I will have a drawing. 2 lucky people will get these. And then I will also be giving away a 2-question video reading. So it'll be a reading. You can say, here's the 2 questions that I have, and I want to know this, and I want to know that. And there you go. There you go. And I will read on that for you. So hold on. I just got a notification here, and it's nothing that I need to attend to right now. So let me see. Wild Man's mom. All of the cell phones moving around the crime scene hours before found the girls, and 17 hours of missing interviews of some suspects. Yes. And they had some very good suspects that they have just passed off. All right. Yeah. Irish is correct. I will sure get you fired up, and yeah. Trigger warnings, because, and like I said, on Patreon, if you want to go over there, and I'll put that banner up again. Here we are. If you want to go on over there, I will be able to talk about a lot more, because I cannot here. So, and Irish has a very kind comment. I highly recommend Zelda reading. I have two, and they're amazing. Well, I try, and thank you, Irish, for that little kudos. That and 25 cents will get you won't even get you a Reese cup anymore. But thank you very much, my darling. I appreciate it so much. So, Wildman's mom, I want both the Reed case and Rick A case. What the time of death? You are absolutely correct. And you know what else I want on the Karen Reed case? I want to see the warrant that Trooper Proctor was allowed and able to come and get her car. They need more than him walking in and saying, "We're going to take your car, okay?" I don't know. I may have given him no, see, I'm always brave, but I'm going to tell you something. I know enough. I've seen enough of this. And by the way, this leads me into something new that I just think that is also amazing. And that is, my client who was wrongly accused of unaliving her boyfriend, whom she found, and instead of the gendarme coming in and looking around the property to see what was going on, they just grabbed her. Boom. They got her, and they were not interested. It was kind of a Karen Reed case on a much lower, but it's been squashed because the authorities don't want anybody to really know what had happened and what's going on, because the man that was unalived, who was married, no judgment, whatever. I love Marianne, and if she's here watching, hello, my darling, and her sister are fantastic people, and whatever she does is her. It doesn't affect me whatsoever. But they wrongfully accused her, grabbed her, held her accountable, held her without bail. She lost everything. But the good news is they have settled. She got a very good attorney. I'm going to say kind of, sort of, but it is a female attorney on the level of, let's see, if you could combine attorney Melanie Little and attorney Mark Betterow and attorney Emily Baker and attorneys Jackson and Yannetti, she's good. And she went in there and cleaned house, and they have settled, because she promised the first thing to do would be to put this in the USA Today. Now, we know that USA Today can be sort of kind of a rag these days. However, people still pay attention to it. And it's in this area of a high net wealth community that is actually set apart outside of a big metropolis-y type area. And she promised that regardless, she was going to make this public, make it known, and look out. So they did the right thing, and they settled for an undisclosed amount. So I'm very happy about that. And I don't know what it is, and I don't need to know what it is, because that's her business. She is able to buy another home. And believe me, she is moving out of Dodge. She's moving closer to where her sister is, that is kind of sort of on the line of the states. She's able to reinvest. She does not have to work, but she's now self-employed and doing some contract work. So she's doing good. She's recovering. And I want you to know that Karen Reed and Turtle Boy will be, not if, maybe, sort of, kinda, will be doing the same thing. There are plenty of things in the works for Karen and Turtle Boy. And it's just a matter of getting to the end of this. And I can tell you another wonderful thing, and that is this. There is, every time stupidity enters the room, like these meathead type things that are going on in these Bedero letters, the father of footnotes, I like to call him, Daddy Bedero, and these bonehead moves from Hanky Panky. I'm going to start calling him that. I've got Higgy Baby. Now it's Hanky Panky. All of this stuff that Hanky Panky is doing, like clamoring in, and in my opinion, those are bonehead moves. Doing things like trying to get your family to turn on you. What? You can tell that he has been used to being this defense, working with Whitey Bulger, Whitey Boy, because this is the kind of crap that they do. So you can tell it's a dirty move, in my opinion. But every time they do something like this, you just may as well tag a few more zeros on the back of everything that's going on. For Turtle Boy, for Aiden, and for Karen. Just keep tacking zeros on. Just go on. Keep tacking zeros. Because I want you to know what else they are doing. They are setting precedents. Pardon me. Just a minute. I have to go off camera. Just a minute. My nose is tickling so bad. Hold. Allergies. All right. So now comes, you're going to start seeing this all unravel. Don't you just love it? You know what song this reminds me of? Can you hear them? Can you hear them running? Can you hear them running? Can you hear them running through? You know the song. You know the song. Sooner or later, feds are gonna get ya. Sooner or later, feds are gonna get ya. Sooner or later, feds are gonna get ya. Sooner or later, feds are gonna win. Yep. You can start going around and clapping because you're seeing it unfold. The one thing that is going to be happening now for Turtle and Karen, long after I am on this earth, they are setting precedents. They will be going down in history with these cases, and these cases will remain in the history books of what not to do. They will be taught in law schools of what not to do. So I think we've caught up. And now, my darlings, it is time. So here, I have a little video that I want you to watch. And if you have little ear things that you want to put in, if you want to do all this, because I'm going to turn it up as high as it will go, because there's some things that you need to hear that are going on. Now, if you missed this and you want to go back, it is in my playlists, okay? And you can find it by just searching for The Haunted Necklace. So here's a trigger warning. This may get to you. So if you don't like this sort of haunted type things, because you know it is this time of the year, and welcome to my cemetery. So if you know. So trigger warning, my darlings. And here we go. So if you want to just take a little breather, go get you a drink, and then I'm going to tell you the story behind this. And you don't want to miss it. Just give me a second. We're going to set it up. It's already set up. I'm just going to start it. Okay. And by the way, while I'm setting this up, what's for dinner? I have in the crock pot, you know, I know you've heard of chicken Cheshire. I don't make it with chicken because I think chicken can get dry and a little tough, but I make it with center cut pork chops and pork chop Cheshire with mushrooms, baked potatoes, and sauteed green beans. So for anyone who wants to just come on over, we will have a murder mystery dinner together and talk about everything from ghosts and goblins to Massachusetts, Indiana, and Idaho. All right, my darlings, here we go. Get ready. And let me see if I can turn this up. Now give me a second. Let me see. Here we are. Okay, now here we are. And hold on, I'm going to try to turn the volume up, and I'm going to turn me down. I'm going to be quiet. Try to. Right. Okay, I'm going to turn this volume up here so you can hear it. And if we are ready, my darlings, here we go. Oops. Hi, everybody. This is Zelda Kelly. And instead of taking some pictures, I thought I would do maybe a little video. We might catch something on here. I had an experience earlier this evening that was different. So if you will give me the honor in watching this, I will show you what I was talking about. There is a couple of items in this bag. Now, my darlings, I do have to preface this by saying that this was, I believe, in September or October, about 6 years ago, I think. So, okay, here we go. I'm unboxing it, or I'm unbagging it. I keep it in this bag just really to keep it dust free. But it is on a black cloth, and I have my pendulum nearby. We'll do a little bit of pendulum work as well. You can see that I'm wearing my trusty yellow glove. I always do this when I touch these types of items. So let's just go ahead and get started. The first item, and these items are pretty old too. They're at least, I'm going to say, I would say 70 years. This is a handkerchief that went along with this necklace. And you can see that it's old, it's kind of rotted. And that's why I keep it in that plastic bag. So it's got some, whoever did this, and of course, back in the day, I mean, this had to be in the 30s, 40s, something like that. They always did a lot of crochet work. And if you can see that, whoever did that took a lot of love when they did that. So very aged, very old. And here is the necklace. There we go. Again, my recorder cut off. I would suggest that no one ever wear anyone else's jewelry, clothing. Don't go to stores, thrift stores, antique stores, buy these things without knowing what you're getting and without clearing them. So this is it.
Like I said, I really had an event earlier with this. So I'm going to go ahead and box it up, put it away. But I wanted you to see it. They're two really quite beautiful items. That little heart there, I always thought was very pretty and delicate. Anyway, this is the necklace you're supposed to be seeing full body apparitions. I've never tried it, and I'm not going to, just based on the experiences that I've had with this. So thank you very much again, everyone. Be well. And thank you again. This is Zelda Kelly, and peace to you.
There is my darling Candy. I am her Aunt Zelda. She's my wonderful niece. Did you hear the breathing in the beginning? Do you want me to play that part over in the beginning? Do you want me to? Let me know in the chat if you want me to play that initial, because you start hearing it in the beginning. If you want me to play that again, I'll be glad to. Do you want me to play that again? Let me see here. Let me see. Let's do it. Let's do it. Now listen very carefully in the beginning.
Hi, everybody. This is Zelda Kelly. And instead of taking some pictures, I thought I would do maybe a little video. We might catch something on here. I had an experience earlier this evening that was different. So if you will give me the honor in watching this, I will show you what I was talking about. There is a couple of items in this bag. I'm unboxing it, or I'm unbagging it. I keep it in this bag just really to keep it dust free. But it is on a black cloth, and I have my pendulum nearby. We'll do a little bit of pendulum work as well. You can see that I'm wearing my trusty yellow glove. I always do this when I touch these types of items. So let's just go ahead and get started. The first item, and these items are pretty old too. They're at least, I'm going to say, I would say 70 years. This is a handkerchief that went along with this necklace. And you can see that it's old. It's kind of rotted. And that's why I keep it in that plastic bag. So it's got some, whoever did this, and of course, back in the day, I mean, this had to be in the 30s, 40s, something like that. They always did a lot.
Okay, my darlings. So, yes, you can hear this, and I'm going to remove this now from there. I'm going to give you the backstory of the necklace and of the handkerchief. And this was right after I moved into this Airbnb. And here's the backstory. Years ago, it was in the 1990s. Yes, I was alive then. And there was a radio station near where I lived in Ohio. Pardon me, where I lived in Ohio, that I would go and do a radio show on every Saturday. And, hello, that was before we had internet and all this other. So I would be on the show. I would be reading cards. I'd do all these things. And it was really a great hit. Well, one of the station owners, now this is when Frank Sinatra, I know all of you remember Frank Sinatra, when he was very ill and he was going to pass away. One of the radio station owners also owned a newspaper. And he kept saying to me, Zelda, you've got to tell me that Frank Sinatra is going to go, because I want to be the first one out to put the headlines. And I said, he's not going to go now. His energy is too, He was really sick. But, I don't predict that stuff, but his energy wasn't transitioning, wasn't leaving. And I said, so it made him mad. He was mad at me to begin with. So I'm on this show one Saturday morning, and I would have people call in and tell me about their hauntings, and maybe I would go out and investigate, or maybe I would go talk to them, or whatever the case may be. Well, it was a woman who was with her friend who said that they bought this necklace and handkerchief at a thrift store. Her friend, the woman who called, was calling on behalf of the friend. And you know how you do. You've got friends and you hear them in the background. Tell her this, tell her that. I always think it's funny. So she was literally in the background telling these things. Well, they had gone, these two were just like two peas in the pod, best friends. And they had gone to this thrift store to buy this necklace. And it was a package deal, basically. They had it in a case, and they had a sign up that said no returns. So they asked about that. And they said that they had sold this necklace and handkerchief many times, and people would come back and return it. They wouldn't tell why, but they just basically said, we don't want it any longer. So I said, okay. So she said the story that the woman at the thrift store told her was, and you know how these things are urban legends. So I wasn't really thinking sort of kind of if it were true. You know what I mean? Because everybody has a story. Now, I was little side trip here. I had bought an old farmhouse, like Civil War farmhouse that I had been living in. And this thing, you went through the front door and you just felt like you were in a completely different time zone. It was so cool. And I had this beautiful table in the front as you walked in, and there was a great big staircase. And I expected Jefferson or somebody to just walk in at any moment. Okay, so the story, now this is all unfolding on air, and we actually ran over because it was so interesting that they didn't want to cut this off. So they had told me that the story was, but they were told after this. So let me get there. So the friend of the woman, of the caller, bought it. She was going to someplace and wore the necklace. And she thought that the handkerchief was really pretty, and she put it in her bag, not knowing what she was going to do or what she should do, or, whatever. It was an antique, but she just thought it was really cool looking. So she carried it with her. So as the story goes, they went to this area, or this, I guess, thing, or she and her husband went to this, I think it was some type of dinner, and she was seeing people walk through the restaurant that really weren't there. And her husband was so freaked out about her reactions. He wasn't seeing anything, but she was shaking. She couldn't eat. It was very visible. There was a problem. And so they left early. She went home, and that night she said, probably one of the worst nights that she had ever had. She never knew that anything like that. There was this woman who kept peeking around the corner of her door, of the bedroom door, at her. Now imagine that. Hello. I got scared today. My son scared me today, and I left out a scream. It sounded like I was in a B movie. So, and I'll tell you about that in a minute. You'll get a laugh. So she called her best friend the next day and told her what happened. She said, we've got to take this back. So they took it back to the thrift store, and the lady at the thrift store said, no, you can't bring it back. You better do something. And that was on the Friday before. So the husband of the woman put it outside in the garage. Nothing happened. So the next morning they called me. My radio show was at 10 a.m. in the morning, and it would last until probably 12 p.m. But this day we went on till about 1 p.m. And they told me everything that was going on. So the lady at the thrift store said this story. Now, I've tried to debunk this. I've tried to find out, and I just couldn't. She said the story was that there was a woman back in the 1930s on her wedding day was going to the chapel, and her groom, her fiance, was also going, but got into a car accident and was killed. And so this woman was so distraught that she tried everything. She tried everything to bring him back. She visited psychics. She visited hoodoos. She visited witches. She visited all kinds of different, and nothing could ever come about it. The one person that she visited said that they cast something on these 2 items because they needed items. And now I don't believe in this because it's necrophilia. I'm not into that. I don't want to call back spirits, and besides, it's biblical. We're not supposed to be doing that. So she was trying to bring him back, and the idea was that she was supposed to lay down on their marital bed in their home, hold these items, and concentrate on him, and there were some other things that she was doing and whatever. She was doing this so much that no one heard from her, and then finally one day, someone said, "We haven't heard from her," and they went in, and they found her laying on the bed, and she was no longer alive. The story goes that with these 2 items, the necklace and the handkerchief, you're supposed, if you put them on, if you wear them, you are supposed to see what is called an FBA. F as in Frank, B as in baby, A as in apple. FBA, full body apparition. Now, I'm sorry. I see enough, and I don't want to put that stuff on. They were begging me to take this from them by the time they were talking about the story and some of these things that they had seen and gone, whatever. So finally, I agreed that I would meet them. Yeah, that's right. So finally, I agreed to meet them if they could come in the parking lot before I were leaving. And they did. They ran right down to the station. And of course, I had one of the guys go outside with me because I didn't know. And they handed me this box. And in the box, that is the original baggy thing that they had them in. And I said, okay. I did not look in the box, and I said, well, I'll take it and clear it, because usually, sometimes things like that, because you just don't know if a story is true. You don't know if somebody's trying to pull your leg. You don't know any of this sort of thing. So I said, okay, fine. So I took it. I went home. I walked in the front door of my beautiful Civil War house. On this table in the foyer, or in the foyer, whatever anyone wants to say, I had this beautiful vase of flowers there, and I just kind of tossed the box on the table, went into the kitchen, started making some things for dinner, and then I forgot about it. That night, of course, now my son is little. I did not have cats at that time. Don't ask me why. It's like, hello, life without a cat. My son was little. He was a toddler at that time. So he wasn't out. He was not allowed to be in the foyer. He knew that. He was in the room with me at all times. We were getting ready to go to bed, and I hear this huge, great big bang in my house. And I'm thinking, what in the name of all that's holy is going on? So there I am with my son, because I didn't want to leave him in a room. His daddy was gone. I didn't want to leave him in a room by himself. And I'm kind of, going room from room, just thinking, because I thought, well, maybe I hung something and it fell. You don't think of anything nefarious going on. The typical B movie. So I flipped the light on in the foyer, and I didn't see the box on the table. And I thought, what on earth? And the vase with the vase was sitting kind of like this on an edge, because it had a beveled, it had a beveled edge like this, and it was just kind of sitting there, and the box was gone. And I thought, what in the world? And I looked around, and here, this table had to be at least minimum of 6, I'm thinking maybe 10 feet from the front door, because it was in, quite a bit. There was this box propped up like this. So this is the door, and it was propped up like this on the bottom of the door. Just propped up like this. I thought, what? So I looked around. There was nothing. Literally no one was around there. And I thought, oh, somebody's wanting me to open that box, and they can forget it. Didn't do it. So I put it away, I layered it in some other things and forgot about it. And over the years, now my son will be, 29 on Christmas Day. So this has been at least 24, 25 years. I have forgot about it, and I have moved it with me as we go on. Hello. And so I cleansed my house. I did everything that I was supposed to be doing and never had a problem. And then when we moved here in this condo and I was unpacking, I thought, what is this? I forget what. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh my gosh, I have never opened that. So what you see on the video is the first time that I've ever seen it and opened it. I did not hear any of the breathing. Now you're going to hear me breathing because I was a little upset, because the moment that I walked in that room, now my son was here, he had friends over, they were streaming online, they were doing whatever. And I said, look, I'm going in the bedroom to do this. Don't bother me. I won't bother you, blah, blah, blah. And so the moment that I walked in to the bed and I had this box, the door closed behind me. And I was just thinking, oh, it's a cat, whatever. And then I walked around the bed and I was far from it. The floor lamp turned off. Now I'm going to tell you, my darlings, I'm in this business and I still get a little on the oh my gosh, the floor lamp, it was pitch dark in that room. So I mustered over, flipped on the overhead light, went and turned on that light again. And I thought, okay, here we go. So I'm setting up my camera. That kept going off. So what you heard and what you saw there was the unboxing. I packed it away, and there's no place around here to get rid of it. And I'm not going to go and put it in. I'm a purist in that way. Nothing is bothering us. No, everything is fine. So when I do get moved, I am going to dispose of it properly. Now, here's a really situation that made me very uncomfortable. At that time, I was really on another platform with the initials of F as in Frank, B as in boy. And I was doing a lot of lives on there. I was doing a lot of things. It is a shame because it is a beautiful necklace, and it's a gorgeous handkerchief too. That little crochet work is just immaculate. So, somebody keeps texting me. All right, so I was a little nervous during that unboxing video. And I didn't even see the video. I was just on this other platform. I was telling about it, blah, blah, blah. All these people were calling me in the paranormal, and they, people that collected these sort of things. I had another paranormal group that was analyzing the audio. And I mean, if you really listen to the audio, if you can get past me talking and listening to it, it is breathing, growling, and at one point it said some word, but I don't know what it was. The next day after I had this little presentation, I was talking about it on this whatever platform. This woman contacts me and she says, I want to buy this from you. Now, I'm going to tell you what, I set the price on that extremely high to deter people because I'm not going to sell it to anybody. So, I just basically said, sure, I want 10,000 for it, knowing that I wouldn't get it, knowing I wouldn't take it anyway. But it was just kind of like okay. And she said, oh, I can't give you 10,000, but I can give you $100 for it. And I said, oh no, honey, I can't do that. I'm not going to sell it for $100. It's a relic that I feel is dangerous. Now, this is the part that I didn't like. She says, I have a 4-year-old daughter who sees apparitions, who talks to, spirits and all this. And I want her to put it on so she could do this. I said, you mean to tell me that you would put this very dangerous necklace, because I consider it dangerous. I've had some, you are going to tell me that you would put this very dangerous necklace on a 4-year-old girl that has no training, that has no, I won't even do that myself. And she's like, oh no, it's okay. I take her to haunted houses and leave her. Oh wait, I looked like Jen McCabe when I did that. I'm sorry. Leave her in the haunted house by herself for a little while. And I'm like, oh my God, you're kidding me. You need DHS on your hind end, girl. You're taking this little girl. What happens? She said, oh, I go back and she's sitting there where I left her, and she's just telling me what she picked up and who she. I told her, I said, you will never get this from me. I will never be a party to whatever craziness you are doing to your daughter. How dare you? That you're messing with things you shouldn't be messing. And you're doing, what are you doing this for? Your own edification? How evil of a mother are you? And you know what she did? She called me. And when I said, how evil are you? This is what she did. I can't get down low enough. But she starts laughing, and it's really low. I just blocked her. I'm like, that's crazy. And who knows? She just may have been yanking my chain. I mean, I don't know. right? I mean, I don't know. She may just have been, a Yankee Doodle dandy is what I call them when they want to do that. But yeah, that's absolutely crazy. So I have that. And you're welcome to go back and look at that again in my playlist. I've got all kinds of stuff, scary stuff. But next week, I'm going to be talking to you about my own personal experience when I was 4 years old and how we found out that I had psychic ability and other crazy stuff that was happening. Thank God I had my grandma and my grandpa and my mother. Because my dad, being the son of a preacher man, thought there was something else going on and wanted to send me away. So I'll share all of that with you next Saturday. But I wanted to get on here and tell you this scary story. I mean, my goodness, I have been around the block and I have met all kinds of things. And and Haya says, Zelda, thank you so much for sharing your experiences. I appreciate you. Well, thank you for listening. I appreciate you, and I don't mean to scare anyone. So, and TD says she needs that child taken from her. I thought so too. And my dear Irish says, what a horrible human. Now, I think that's being kind, Irish. I think so too. I think so too. So, yeah. So, you, my darlings, are, listen, if it weren't for you, I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be here. That's just the way it is. Whether I have, I don't even know how many people are watching. How many people are watching? I don't even know. 35. Okay. Well, then, if you'll do me a favor, all 35 of you, if you will please do me a favor and hit that like button. Please do me that favor and give me some likes and help me get out into the algorithm. Because I don't know what happened. Somebody said that my SEO is no longer good. I'm not here for the SEOs. I'm here because I love doing what I'm doing. So I love that. But now I want all of you to do me another favor, and that is this. I want you to tell me what it is that you would like me to read on. I'm going to read on the Delphi case. I'm going to read on, I'm going to see on the, yes, thank you, Dana. Thank you, my darling. Thanks for being here. I'm going to read on the Delphi case. I'm going to read on the Idaho 4. Sorry, I had a brain. I had a little skip there. I'm going to read on those. So tell me, what exactly do you sort of kind of think you want me to read on? What would you like to hear about? So it's Karen Reed, Delphi, and Idaho 4. That might be the only ones that I can really keep up with, my darlings, because wow. And another thing too is that many of you, God bless you, watch because we are in the middle of your night and you do the rewatch. So if you'll do me a favor, if you're rewatching, put a number 2 in the chat so I know. Justin Root. Yes. I don't know about Justin Root. A lot about Justin Root. So if you're rewatching this after the live, and if you'll put a number 2 in the chat for me, because for those of you who are coming from Great Britain and South Africa and all these wonderful places who are part of our community, please do me a favor and do that. So I'm going to do all of that, plus some of these things I may have to do on Patreon because YouTube, our friends here, YouTube will not be happy with the details of some of these cases if I'm reading on them. So I just want you to know. So, and it's a free trial over there, okay? Free trial over there. But anyway, I'm going to start working on all these things too. The other invitation that I want you all to do now is start taking notes on my readings. Because as you see in that one video that we had, and it was with the mythic tarot of the King of, no, I'm sorry, it was the Six of Pentacles, where Sandra, Beatles fan, David's girl, were based in, she saw that, and it was just like the autopsy photo of John O'Keefe's arm. I was blown away. Sometimes I don't see that stuff because of the camera angles and all that. So yes, Haya, thank you for that. I appreciate you. Many of you are. So plus, and this is the reason why I want you to start a little tarot journal of the readings that you're watching. Karen, I had some brain gas for sure. That happens. And yeah, Irish says that was an incredible catch. It blew me away. It did me too. I love your profile picture there, darling. I wish I could wear red lipstick. It makes me look like an old streetwalker when I do. I'm sorry. I come from that era of red lipstick, and it's just, you get to a certain time in your life that red lipstick just is not a good thing, but that looks lovely on you. I love it. So keep a tarot journal. Make sure that yes, I do too. Make sure that when you see things appear like that, like the Six of Pentacles with the arm, or you see Mr. Reed show up 3 times, these confirmations, the anomalies, the different things that are going on, that will help for us to all keep in things. Because with me, when I leave one reading, like many of you I've read for, when I leave that reading and I go on to the next, I clear the energy and try to clear my head. And I do hundreds of readings. So sometimes it doesn't it doesn't retain. But this whole thing with when Mr. Reed came out, the ACLU video was very fresh in my mind of Mr. Reed, because he's been coming out often when I'm doing things for Karen. Often. So, I think it might be a good idea, Haya, to do a reading on the waterfall and maybe even the CW. Yeah. I think that might be good. Yeah, let's do that. Okay. Thank you very much for that suggestion. Thank you. And of course, Dana, the Karen Reed case. Listen, this Karen Reed case, I covered the Johnny Depp case and didn't get, there was not much that came of it for me. And I was doing different type of things like moon readings and the ancestor readings and, messages from the universe and messages from wherever and blah, blah. But I decided, because when I see these things, I read alongside of them. And I thought, and it actually was Marie who was in the chat. It was Marie in the chat who said, you should do this on YouTube. You'd be very good at it. And I said, oh, sure. Nobody wants to see that kind of stuff. I'll just do it for me. And it was during the Karen Reed that it was like, holy mackerel, this really took off. crazily. So now we don't have a lot of people here tonight, and I'm going to tell you, I think it's because of football, but that's okay. I don't think that I'm going to move my stream because we've got other nights that people, but I might. So I'm just going to tell you, I may move the stream during football season, and I may try to do it during the week. I don't know. I'm thinking of possibly on Wednesday. So that way we can have more people. Deborah says, Dark Shadows. I used to run home to watch it. Yes. My goodness. You know what my favorite part of the living room? Yes, that's right. And oh, yes. The family room, the living room. I'm going to tell you something. I have a feeling that Microdots is going to be coming out with something very awesome very soon. He's got this, he's my top dot. I just want you to know I love Richie. We all do. And if you're watching Richie, you know I love you. There's a video of his when I first watched him, because like I said, I'm very careful. Now I go in these streams because I like to see what's going on. I like to get the feel of it, but I don't watch a lot of the documentaries because one of the things that I found out about documentaries is that even though they try to report the truth, they still miss things. And sometimes they get just like, well, look at these reportings on Karen. Look at what Nightline did to her. Dateline wasn't so bad, but Nightline was just, oh. So I heard all these people talking about microdots. And I'm like, okay, I watch this. The first one I watched was a video called Fatal Error. I couldn't breathe. I held my breath the whole time through that video. And I told him, I said, I have never, this impacted me. And then Wild Animals had kind of the same, but there was one before Wild Animals that, you know, when you're going up into the house and you go in the living room and it pans over to the fireplace and you can see their pictures moving. I was 100% just fixated in this video. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So just like with Karen, I'm very careful of what I watch and where I watch it because, you know, I'm always watching true crime stuff all the time. And I got to tell you, a show that I watched that was crazy, and I try not to watch too much of it because it does affect me, was on Netflix, and it is called My Ex, something about the criminal, about how these people's exes kept coming back because of failures of law enforcement, not enforcing things, and the exes would come back and people would get hurt or unalived. That's a crazy documentary. Oh, I know another one that I want to bring to you is the Menendez brothers. I want to do a reading on the Menendez brothers, so I have to make a note of everything. And after this, if you're seeing this on the rewatch and on the replay, please feel free to tell me exactly if there's something. If I can get to it, I will. Many of you give me suggestions, and believe me, I will do that if I can. But wow, I heard Melanie today. I love Melanie Little, and I'm just going to tell you this, and I can say this. Melanie Little, and I love all the rest of them, but Melanie Little is my favorite law tuber. She's my favorite lawyer on here, and it's because she's got this wonderful countenance about her. She brings it to you, and she does it in terms that we understand and helps us to understand the law and just helps us with everything, with all of this. And I tell you what, I love her. And I heard her today say it is going to get to a point where I need a producer, I need a editor, I need somebody to run this, because that's what Emily Baker has. And Emily Baker is she's the top girl. She's top in YouTube, and she's deserved it. She's climbed up into the ranks, and she really puts a lot into it. Melanie's going to get to that point. I know she will. She's adorable, and she's very talented. And I wanted to tell her, and Ms. Melanie, if you are watching, if there is a movie that is made about Karen Reed, or if you want to make a movie, let me know. But if there is a movie about Karen Reed, I know you're a very talented lawyer, but I wish you would play Karen Reed. Wouldn't Melanie be an awesome Karen Reed? Oh my gosh. And she is an actress anyway. So I just think, I don't know. That's my own opinion. I love that. So, hi there, Lynette. I'm way behind too, just turning in now at the start. Okay, well, thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate you so very much. And yes, Haya, the Menendez brothers. That was another failure of our judicial system that we need to be thinking about. And then Elizabeth has to say, I have a friend going through just that. It's crazy. I just can't believe he keeps getting bail. Yeah. There's some different things. Lynette says she loves my backdrop. I'm going to tell you this. This backdrop is an AI that I created. And what you see, I do. And I'm coming up with an intro I think that all of you are really going to like, but I need a better intro. I need an intro and I've got one coming around the corner when she comes. Yes. And so I can't wait to unveil that for all of you as well. And Marie and I are talking about merch. Now, here's an exciting thing. I have written 2 books. One is about tarot reading, and it basically teaches you everything that I know, plus some probably. And I've put it all together in this is the meaning of this, and this is the meaning of that, and this is the type of cards if you're going to start out and all these things. So I've got one on tarot. And then I've written one on cartomancy, which is the art of playing cards. And so we're going to start offering those digital books. And then I've got some other digital books that I'm making. And then I'm working on my paranormal experiences. That one is taken a while because you can imagine over the years, I've had many. And if you would like to see some of these experiences, I have a playlist that is called Dark Tales of Zelda. And you can go in there, and these are spooky, real card readings. There are some spooky, real stories that I have on there, like as in I spoke to a vampire who was really real. And I think that it was Saint Germain. That was a really good story. There's some really good stories there. I'm glad that I have recorded them because I want them for someday, 150 years ago when I'm older, that they'll still be around. So we're coming up with merch. We're doing a lot of things coming in toward the end of the year. This is just amazing. And it's because of you. That's why I'm here. I mean, I want to be here. And I look forward to having this. So if I change the night, and hi, those of you do not apologize for being late, because We've got so many wonderful channels. Absolutely. You're going to be here and you want to be here. So do me a favor now, my darlings. And that is, oops, I lost my channel here. Where are we? I lost my studio. There we are. Do me a favor, my darlings, if you will, because you're getting ready to go over to Turtle Boy's live. I'm going to redirect this stream right over to Turtle Boy in about 1 minute. And if you go over there and you go into his live, please do me a favor and tell him that it is a Zelda raise to the top turtle. And he'll know. It is a Zelda raid. Sorry, not raise. Zelda raid to the top turtle, or Zelda's raiding. I appreciate you so much. So when he starts, it's going to redirect right over there to you. And I appreciate it so much for you being here. So we've got a lot going on. And I think one of these days, I'm probably going to need that producer and that editor and all of those people as well. Not there yet, but I'll get there. Now, as far as anything else, my darling, let's see here. Somebody sent me another message. Okay. I don't know who's sending me messages, but okay, it's fine. So I'll let you know if I'm going to change the nights. Okay. I'm going to let you know that. So hang in there, because I think pretty soon as Turtle starts, as soon as Aiden starts, and I'm watching right now, so I'll let you know. Okay, so Lily says, it's okay. She says she's behind in the chat, but that's okay. They did take notes in the Karen Reed trial, and the MSP collected them at the end of the day. I believe the judge and others read them. Of course they did. They kicked jurors off that were pro-Karen because they read the notes. Of course. I think when we start sending legal messages, as in not us, but attorneys like Mark Betterow starts sending these letters, well, guess what? Guess what? That means that they are not, guess what? It just means that they are not in a position where they are going to be able to get away with this any longer. That's what this means. So, all right, my darlings, keep me posted on all the good things. And I'm going to be watching, and I'll be reading for each and every one of you. And hang tight so that when you get to the point, I'll direct you over. I want to thank you so much for being here. And I love each and I love each and every one of you. And I just think that you are wonderful. And thank you again. I don't know when Turtle is starting. We were supposed to, thank you, Dragons, man, I love it. We were supposed to be directing. I don't think he started yet. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to put my end screen on here. I'm going to say goodnight to each and every one of you, and I'm going to watch. And when Turtle Boy starts, I'm going to send you over there. So I love you. Talk. I love each and every one of you. Thank you so much for being here and listening to these wonderful stories that I have, because I've got more. There we go. So with that being said, my darlings, you all have a wonderful night, and I'll see you again very soon. Be watchmen and get out your notebooks, because it is all starting to happen. I'll direct you over when the time comes. Much love to you. Bye for now. My mic is muted. See, I need a producer. Much love to you, my darlings, and I will talk to you again very soon. Here we go. We're going to try this again. Bye.